Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now today I'm not actually going to be solving any puzzles or even discussing how to solve puzzles, but an article in the Times this week started me thinking about a couple of incidents in the past. The article was, as you can see, called The Intelligence Trap Quiz, Are You Smart But Stupid? And went on to explain that those with the highest qualifications can be quite stupid. Now, the article was actually about an academic paper that suggested that there's a number of ways in which people with good university degrees or high IQ levels sometimes don't manage to apply their intelligence to normal world problems or to certain types of question. And I don't think that these questions that they went on to ask in a quiz are necessarily all that explanatory about what the author was really on about. This was more what the journalist came up with. And if you look at these, you will probably note that a number of them are trick questions that have a certain amount of currency anyway. So I think number 2 is possibly the nicest as a logical problem. Have a think about that if you want to. But what it did remind me of, we often get questions about things. People like to push our puzzle solving abilities quite hard, but sometimes they also just say, well, you're too good. Well, I can tell you that sometimes we are very dumb. So here's a couple of instances in which that has occurred. So first of all, last year we took part in the Great Galactic Puzzle Hunt, which happens every year. It's about to happen soon. Do register. It's going to be worth it. Last year's was about cookies, and rather brilliantly, quite the last puzzle in the whole hunt relied on you. You had to finally find the Cookie Monster, who was supposed to have ruined the hunt by having claimed a win early on but having cheated, and you had to get into how he had cheated. And very cleverly, the way you had to get into that was by identifying cookies that had been stored on your computer so that you could work out what cookies had been stored on his computer and crack what he'd been doing to cheat. I mean, it was a very clever concept. And what we were delivered for this part of the puzzle was the words Hindsight Monty and Alan Rickman, which meant nothing to us. We spent quite a long time as a team. There were 4 or 5 of us trying to understand what relevance Hindsight Monty and Alan Rickman could have. Now, what we didn't know was that 4 weeks before the hunt, when Simon registered us, he was asked to provide answers for 3 security questions in the event that we forgot our password as a team. And these 3 questions were, what is your favourite compound word? What is buried in your backyard? And what's the first name of your favourite actor? Now, as you will guess, Hindsight Monty and Alan Rickman were Simon's answers to those questions. But by the time we got those fired back at us, he'd completely forgotten the questions, or that they were his answers, or that they were particularly relevant to him. Now, Hindsight is a reasonable choice for a compound word. Monty, now don't get too scared, Monty's apparently Simon's sister-in-law's dead cat, which is buried in his backyard. And the first name of your favourite actor, I'd love to know how Simon was reading. Obviously, he didn't see the word first when he entered Alan Rickman, unless he thinks Alan Rickman is Alan Rickman's first name. But anyway, it was when we had to ask for a number of hints for the guys who set the puzzles, and eventually they came back to us with a very clear hint that the person who registered us for the hunt ought to recognise these answers. And when we went back to find out what had happened, Simon acknowledged that possibly he had entered Hindsight Monty and Alan Rickman as his 3 answers, but he had no memory of it at all. So we all tore strips off him. And then I got my comeuppance this year, because this year, just as last year we showed you a puzzle from the Puzzle Hunt, a rather brilliant Star Wars puzzle. This year we might well at some point show you some of the Pablo's Armchair Treasure Hunt, which happened around Christmas. And the guy in our team who's probably the best at these things, Neil, sent us a folder of his answers to this before anybody else had looked at it. He'd gone through what is a long list of pictures, codes, questions. Especially there are a number of general knowledge questions, and this page shows 5 of those general knowledge questions. You know, well done if you know what any of these means. But you had to kind of answer the questions as a help through the puzzle hunt. And with, as I say, Neil sent through his answers. So here are some of the answers he sent. And the one I'm looking at particularly, he had IKEA and the letter N at this time for 40, whose last straw went on display, what does England's favourite tree resemble? Now, there were references to certain items in the news. And 42, who showed he could position numbers as well as letters for the second time this year? And Neil's answer to that was Zarte Siempre, the second long run on Countdown, this time winning the grand final. Well, it seemed a reasonable answer to all of us, I think. I think at the time I was thinking it doesn't quite click as a good answer, but you know, it doesn't feel obvious that that's answering the question, but it might well be. It was a few days later that I was going through the list of answers, and it eventually determined that the first letters of these answers were spelling out something, and the word productions seemed to begin from 43, P there and R there for Rakovitz, U for unicorn. It looked like it was productions after 42. So we had IN and then something leading to that. So I kind of wanted a G at 42. And I think that was what finally triggered me to go back to the question and look at it again. Who showed he could position numbers as well as letters for the second time this year? And I suddenly realized it was referring to me, because I had won the Times Sudoku Championship in 2018 for the second time, having a number of crossword championship wins as well. So it seemed that, unless I was mistaken, it turns out I wasn't, that was indeed the answer. And when I suggested that to the team, of course, Simon took immediate opportunity to say, how could he have got grief last year when I've been sitting looking at a question about me and not realizing I was the answer for a number of days? Certainly the first time I've ever seen myself as the answer in a quiz, and very flattering. When Neil sent in our answers, we didn't quite manage to finish the puzzle hunt. There was a code that I think nobody actually cracked, although some people found a way around it in the end. He told the organisers that I was on the team, and they were very amused to write in their write-up of the answers that the answer to this question was participating in the hunt and failed to answer it for a number of days. So that is my suggestion for how the smart can be very stupid on a regular basis, and it happens throughout life, to be honest, every day, rather than just occasional examples. So I hope that's given you some amusement at least, and it's certainly, you know, it's good to have something to put us in our place every so often, as well as, of course, your comments. So that's today's video, a bit of an unusual one. Do comment if you like that sort of anecdotal video occasionally. Thanks very much for watching Cracking the Cryptic, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.